Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my Smackdown review and Mixed Match Challenge review. And I know it's been a week since I last posted a video. It's just been really busy. Lately. I just started a new job. It's just for for seasonal. And my schedule. It's been hectic. It's holiday hours. Working 8 hours. Some days 4 or 5 hours. So that's why I haven't posted a video in a week, and that's why there was no Survivor Series review on Sunday and no Monday Night Raw review last night. But I will review Survivor Series. I'll give my thoughts on the show. That should be coming up on Friday. Hopefully I could get the video out to you all on Friday. Also, maybe I'll review last night's Raw because I DVR'd it. And, my friend, was telling me about it last night. While I was, working, it was off hours. He told me how shit the show was last night. So, yeah, expect me to shit on last night's show, last night's Raw, as always. So, but those should be coming up on Friday if I get it out to you guys. Get those videos out to you guys because I'm off on Friday, and not going out for Black Friday. So, but yeah. So, anyways, tonight's SmackDown. This was the fallout to Survivor Series, and it was from the Staples Center in Los Angeles. They were there for Survivor Series weekend. We had NXT Takeover War Games 2, which I did watch, and it was an amazing show. Really enjoyed it. I enjoyed. There was only 4 matches on there. Well, 5 if you count Matt Riddle and Cassius Ohno. The War Games match was amazing, and all in all, it was just a really amazing show. And they were there for Survivor Series, of course, Monday Night Raw last night, and tonight's SmackDown. Concluded with SmackDown tonight. So tonight's SmackDown, overall, it wasn't a great show by any means. But, it was just meh, in my opinion. Wasn't terrible by any means. But the show opened up with Charlotte coming out. She goes on to say that on Sunday she put the baddest beating on Ronda, and she's proud of it. She ends up saying she's not sorry for what she did to Ronda, and she enjoyed beating her ass. And was spoiled by that. In an article by how bad Charlotte ended up beating up on Ronda. I think that was the main event for Survivor Series. And Charlotte says, Sunday was, for the SmackDown locker room, and it was for Becky. Charlotte goes on to say that she has fought with Becky. And she ends up saying Ronda bowed down to the Queen. So that ended up bringing out Paige. Paige ended up coming out saying, to Charlotte that, Charlotte didn't have to apologize for what she did to Ronda on Sunday. And Paige is like, oh yeah, I think we all enjoyed seeing that. And Charlotte ends up telling Paige that if Ronda sticks her nose in her business again, she's going to stick a chair around her neck and stomp on it, because nobody is going to stop her. And from watching this, it's like, this is what Becky, this is what Becky did when, when WWE, made that on Becky at SummerSlam. It's just, they took Becky and, all the mic, promos that she was doing, and now they're giving what they did with Becky to Charlotte. So, but Paige ends up saying to Charlotte that she is fining her $100,000. I guess for what she did to Ronda by how badly Charlotte ended up beating Ronda at Survivor Series. And then we had Peyton, Royce, and Billie Kay, the Iconics, end up coming out, and they say to Paige that Paige knows they are her favorites, that Paige is their favorites, meaning Peyton, Royce, and Billie Kay. And Charlotte says to them, who is going to be the next Ronda? And then Charlotte ends up laying out, a woo, the woo. She ends up doing that. And then the segment just ended. So, but, it was okay opening to the show tonight. Then we had Charlotte versus Billie Kay. This wasn't a great match by any means. This was a pretty boring match. Charlotte ended up getting the win, ended up hitting natural selection on Billie Kay. So, it was whatever. Then you had after the match, Charlotte says to Peyton Royce, oh, how about a fight? And Peyton was like, oh, I don't know. And Charlotte ends up telling Peyton that, she doesn't have all day. And so Charlotte really wants this fight with Peyton Royce. And Charlotte says to Peyton that she's going to play it fair and square. And so SmackDown went to commercial, and during the commercial where they have that little box, there while the commercials are playing, we see just Charlotte, trying to go after Peyton Royce. Peyton Royce end up getting out, not wanting to have a fight with Charlotte. Then we saw Charlotte end up chopping Peyton Royce during the commercial. So yeah, the match possibly got underway during the commercial. So Charlotte versus Peyton Royce. The match ended in a disqualification, in a DQ, because Billie Kay ended up coming in and saving Peyton Royce. And then both Billie Kay and Peyton Royce ended up being up on Charlotte, ended up tossing her out of the ring. Both Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, they both of them tried to retrieve a chair, but the timekeeper, I think, was there, saying, he was like, hey, that he couldn't, let Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, have the chair. And then Charlotte ended up laying out both Peyton and Billie with a spear on the outside. And Charlotte then bounced both Peyton and Billie's heads on the announce table. So Charlotte ends up sending Billie Kay into the barricade, lays her with the knee, where Billie Kay is still by the barricade. She ends up throwing Peyton Royce into the steel steps. Then Charlotte ended up sending both of them over the announce table, and that's how it ended. So Charlotte versus Peyton wasn't anything great. Both the Iconics just job into Charlotte. So, but I like Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. I'm a fan of them, but them giving WWE giving them this treatment, the treatment to them, it's just unbelievable. And I know there are people who don't like them, because they say, oh, they're annoying. You know, they can't stand their accent, their Austrian accents. But you know, that's their opinions. That's people's opinions. So if they have a problem with them, you know, that's cool with them. But you know, I like Peyton and Billie ever since they were in NXT. Then we had Rey Mysterio end up cutting a promo saying that he never seen anyone like Randy Orton. He goes on to say that Randy Orton now, you know, he's dangerous and sadistic, that, you know, he's ever been, that Orton's ever been. And he goes on to say he didn't come back to WWE just to be another one of Orton's victims, like how Orton, you know, just like what Orton did to Jeff Hardy. And Ray goes on to say that Orton may be at the top of his game, but you know, so is he, but so is Ray. And he says, "Oh, just watch and see." So it was a pretty decent short promo from Mysterio. Then we had The Miz come out for Miz TV. He got a really good pop from the crowd, saying the crowd was saying Miz is awesome. Of course, this was I think in his hometown. Well, not his hometown, but you know where he originally resided, because I know Miz is from Cleveland, and you know this was where he lived, the Miz in Los Angeles. But if you watch Miz and Mrs., it showed him moving to him and Maurice and their daughter moving to Texas. Also, you know, Maurice's mother. If you all watch Miz and Mrs., it's a very, very funny show. Just looking at the lives of Miz and Maurice. But anyways, you know, good pop from the crowd for the Miz tonight. Miz ends up saying, you know, it's good to be home. And he says that it was an honor to fight along with his guest at Survivor Series. And he introduces his guest, who is Shane McMahon, commissioner of SmackDown Live. And so Shane ends up coming out, goes on to say that he's a little banged up from Sunday. Miz says, you know, that only he and him were the last one standing for SmackDown. And they put everything on the line. And they went coast to coast, not once, but twice. And Miz then asks Shane, since he is 2/3 best in the world, and Miz is 1/3 best in the world. They're still mentioning about that stupid, atrocious World Cup tournament that happened at Crown Jewel. You know, he still had the trophy out there, the World Cup trophy. And he says to Miz says to Shane, will he team up and be a tag team? And Miz says, oh, it could be something. And Miz says at Survivor Series, he saw Shane as a champion. Miz ends up going on to say, you know, if Shane is a McMahon, he will team up with him and have some competition. And so Miz then ends up bringing out these two local jobber guys. They were called the Bryan brothers. And so we had a match, tag team match, or you know, one-on-one, because it was one of the Bryant brothers and the Miz going in there. But it was the Bryan brothers versus Miz and Shane McMahon. This was meh. This wasn't a good match. Miz was pretty decent in the match, but it was just him. Shane didn't even come into the match. And we had one of the Bryan brothers rolling up the Miz. So I'm like, so jobbers win? and beat one of these guys, end up being the Miz? Really? I was like, oh my god. That's what I was like. Miz losing to a jobber? Oh my god. But yeah, it wasn't that good of a match. Then we saw when SmackDown was going to commercial, the New Day were going out there. They were dressed in pilgrim, costumes, and we had R-Truth was dressed up as the Gobbledygooker, and then when SmackDown came back from commercial, the New Day was out there, and they say that they are competing in the first ever Thanksgiving feast fight, which they were going to be taking on Cesaro and Sheamus and the Big Show. And so Big E says they like to take the time that him, Xavier, and Kofi like to take the time that they are thankful for their tag team victory at Survivor Series. So there's a spoiler right there for me. And they say they were the one in 6-1, which I'll get to that, which I know all about that. I was spoiled about that. I'll get to that when I talk about Survivor Series, when I do my Survivor Series review. And Xavier says he's thankful for his hard drive, so he doesn't have to delete Spider-Man and download Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm sorry about that. Kofi says, they would like to take the time that, they are thankful for the tag team victory at Survivor Series. Sorry, got my notes a little bit mixed up there. But Big E ends up going on to say that he's blessed about, the breasts, the turkey breasts in front of him. And so out comes Cesaro and Sheamus and the Big Show. Cesaro says to them that, this is a feast. This probably wasn't Paige or Shane's idea, and that it was the New Day's idea. So Cesaro's like, oh, this is stupid. And Sheamus says they are going to make things better by kicking the New Day's ass. And so then SmackDown went to commercial. Then when it came back, we got, we had the match. It was a, 6-man tag team Thanksgiving feast fight. This match, it's one of those, holiday, gimmick matches that WWE likes to do every year. But we did see the Big Show get put through a table because, Big E ended up, trying to push Big Show off the apron. Then Big E I think he kicked the second rope, and then Big Show ended up falling through the table. And then the match ended with Big E end up hitting a turkey to Sheamus. So got the pin, and so that was that. Then we had, after the match, Cesaro, New Day ends up bombarding Cesaro with food, cranberries there, stuffing. They just threw it all on Cesaro. So that's what happened after the match. But Cesaro was a mess covered in all that. So, but all in all, it's one of those holiday gimmicks, like I said, that WWE likes to do every year. Then we ended up seeing Randy Orton cut a promo saying some people think Rey Mysterio's mask represents culture, and to him, Rey's mask means nothing, and it deserves to be erased and destroyed. Well, just like, he was saying, just like, the man who wears it, Rey Mysterio. Orton goes on to say that Ray came back to WWE. You know, when Ray came back to WWE, people were excited. And he says tonight that, you know, we, the people, are going to be shocked with what he does to Ray. So, pretty decent promo from Randy Orton. And then we had Naomi and Asuka versus Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Tag team match. This was, you know, typical women's tag team match. Back and forth between them. A little conflict there with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. What happened after the match. Well, you know, towards the end of the match. And Naomi and Asuka end up win the match. Asuka end up locking in the Asuka lock on Sonya Deville. Sonya end up tapping out. So Naomi and Asuka end up win the match. But typical women's tag team match. Then we had Daniel Bryan end up coming out, which to me, this was the best segment of the night with Daniel Bryan. So he ends up coming out, says he doesn't expect these people to understand, and that this explanation isn't for them. It's for you. You know, I guess, you know, he was talking to, I guess, referring to AJ Styles. He goes on to say that Daniel Bryan committed an act of betrayal. And he goes on to say that act was not last Tuesday. And that it was nearly 3 years ago when he stood in front of the crowd and announced his retirement. Goes on to say that his betrayal occurred when he gave up his dreams. He then goes on to say that he learned from his mistakes and fought. Going to doctors and spending, you know, 3 hours every day inside of a hyperbaric chamber. Goes on to say that, you know, it allowed him the silence and isolation he needed to meditate on his new mantra, which he goes on to say, you know, is fight for your dreams and your dreams will fight for you. And he goes on to say that the only people that moved on were these people. And that, you know, you could hear it as we speak. And he goes on to say, you know, the idiots chant for, you know, AJ Styles. And Daniel ends up calling those people fickle, meant to say, which is, you know, a bunch, you know, with you know, he goes on to say that, you know, it's a bunch and with increase in intensity, and goes on to say, you know, you heard the yes chants grow quicker every week, and Daniel Bryan ended up, you know, stopped fighting. You know, he went on a whole lot, and he goes on to say, you know, when the referee was down, you know, you didn't allow Daniel Bryan to give up his dreams. He's talking about, you know, this is a whole new Daniel Bryan. And, you know, Daniel Bryan, he goes on to say that, you know, Daniel Bryan's dreams took over. And they did what, he goes on to say, they did what they were programmed to do inside of that chamber. And his dreams kicked AJ Styles in the balls, which, you know, we saw last week on last week's SmackDown. So he goes on to say that the dreams made him realize he didn't need these people for anything. And they told him that at Survivor Series, he didn't need to beat Brock Lesnar to win. And he goes on to say he won by allowing Brock to beat the weakness out of him. And goes on to say that the dreams told him to allow Lesnar to beat the weakness out. And there'd be a new emergence after that match. and goes on to say the old Daniel Bryan, the one that these people love, he says that that man is dead. The Yes Movement is dead. And all that's left is you, the new Daniel Bryan, the WWE Champion. And he goes on to say that the only thing that matters is that you never, ever give up your dream. And so he goes and accosts the ring announcer, who is Greg Hamilton, who is the ring announcer for SmackDown. And so Greg Hamilton then introduces him as the new Daniel Bryan. And so Daniel Bryan ends up standing on the announce table, holding up the WWE Championship. So, but really liking this, really look, this interesting for, with this whole new Daniel Bryan. We'll like to see where WWE takes, this new Daniel Bryan. So this is heel Daniel Bryan. Sorry about that, but I was saying, this is, heel Daniel Bryan. So, but this was, like I said, the best segment of the night, in my opinion. Then we had the main event, which was Randy Orton versus Rey Mysterio. And this was, decent main event, back and forth between Orton and Mysterio. At the end of the match, you had Mysterio do a dive through the bottom rope, and Randy Orton just hit Mysterio with the RKO to the floor out there, which was cool. And then Randy Orton put Rey Mysterio back into the ring. Orton ended up hitting Mysterio with another RKO. Orton made the pin. Randy Orton ends up winning the match. So then we had, after the match, Randy Orton wraps a chair over Mysterio's neck, and then he rams Mysterio into the ring post, and he ends up taking off Mysterio's mask. Parts of this match, you saw Orton trying to take Mysterio's mask off. So, but when Orton took off Rey's mask, he was bleeding. He was bleeding a little bit. Mysterio was bleeding a little bit, and the officials tossed a towel over Mysterio's head, and that pretty much ended SmackDown for tonight. But it was a decent main event between Orton and Mysterio. Now we're moving on to the Mixed Match Challenge, which this was, decent Mixed Match Challenge this week. And the first match on the Raw side for the Mixed Match Challenge, it was Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox versus Bobby Roode and Natalya. And if one of these teams loses, they get to go home. Meaning they're out of the competition. And this match, it was decent. It was okay. Like Bobby Roode and Natalya in the match. You had, Jinder Mahal, the Singh brothers, and Alicia Fox there, with the whole Shanti, thing. But very shocking end, which to me, I did not expect these guys to win. Sorry about that, but I was saying, I did not expect these guys to win. But Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox end up winning the match. Alicia end up distracting Bobby Roode, and Singh brother came in. Roode ended up giving that Singh brother a spine buster, and then we had Jinder Mahal end up hitting the Colossus on Bobby Roode. score the win. So Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox, they advanced to the finals, which is shocking. Though when I saw that, I was like, oh no, oh my god. Why have Jinder and Alicia win when they lost every single match in this mixed match challenge? I was like, unbelievable. So yeah, so overall, it was a decent match. Sorry about that once again, but next match on the mixed match challenge was for the SmackDown side. It was Carmella and R-Truth versus Rusev and Lana. This was, fun match. Of course, you had Carmella and R-Truth do the dance break, and they end up getting attacked from behind by Rusev and Lana. Before that, Carmella and R-Truth, well, basically it was R-Truth. He was saying, what's up? And then Rusev, was going Rusev Day, and then Lana Day. And, he had the whole crowd, behind them. The crowd was going, what's up? They were cheering Rusev Day, Lana Day. But Carmella and R-Truth end up getting the win. Carmella ended up hitting a super kick to Lana. So Carmella and R-Truth advanced to the finals. So overall, it was a fun match between the both of them. It's fun that our Carmella and Truth are advancing to the finals. So next week on the mixed match challenge, it's going to be Finn Balor and Billie versus Bobby Lashley and Mickie James and Amber Moon and a partner. Sorry about that again, but it's going to be Finn Balor and Billie versus Bobby Lashley and Mickie James and Amber Moon and a mystery partner, because apparently, from what I heard last night, Braun Strowman ended up getting injured on Raw. And it's going to be Amber Moon and a mystery partner versus Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. So I guess Strowman is out of the mixed match challenge. Same with AJ Styles. I heard AJ Styles is out of the mixed match challenge. So, yeah, so it's going to be Raw mixed match challenge next week. So yeah. So anyways, that's it for my review of SmackDown and the mixed match challenge for tonight. Hope you all enjoyed this review, and thank you all for watching. And definitely give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until the next video, I'll see you all later. Bye.